That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Spiral from the Book of Saw, which was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman and, of course, was delayed for about a year. It's finally being released May 14th, 2021, courtesy of Lionsgate.
Do I know the director's other works?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe you're a fan of his Repo, the genetic rock opera. We also reviewed Death of Me recently. That's the one where Maggie Q and Hemsworth are stomping around Thailand. And then he also directed Saw 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, nice.
So it's a return to the Saw universe.
Okay, the basic story is, in this universe...
Pun intended.
Yeah. In this universe, the Jigsaw Killer did exist. Mm-hmm. So we find a detective named Zeke, who's played by Chris Rock. Mm-hmm. He is part of a police force where 12 years prior, he basically turned in like a dirty cop. So he was working with a cop who shot an innocent witness who was going to testify against another cop for killing someone. So after he did that, he was labeled like
a rat.
A rat. So life for him on the force has been difficult.
But his father,
Marcus Banks, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson, used to be the chief of police. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of given him some, how would you describe it? That's what has saved him the past 12 years, probably.
It extended his half-life, yeah.
Yes. Okay. The film opens with a cop on the force, at a carnival or something, and he witnesses a robbery, chases the suspect down, and ends up getting captured, and that's the first kill, which is he is hanging in the subway, underground subway, mm-hmm. by his tongue. So he's given the choice that he can either rip his tongue out because of all the lies he told in court, mm-hmm. or get hit by the train. So both happen. So that one dies. So we find out that there's a Jigsaw copycat killer, basically. And Detective Zeke, Chris Rock's character, is put on the case. So this killer is going after corrupt cops.
And is corresponding directly with Detective Burns, sending him messages. The only real...
Burns?
His name is Zeke Burns.
It's Burns or Banks?
Burns.
Oh, I said Marcus Banks for Samuel L. Jackson. Anyway, Detective Zeke is being corresponded to directly.
Now I'm questioning myself. Anyhow, he's corresponding directly with Detective Zeke, and the symbol he's using is the spiral, and that's really the only kind of reference. And plus, he's playing the same game as Jigsaw.
He's playing the same game, and there's that doll with the mask.
A different kind of doll. It's a pig.
It's face. A pig, and then the voice, speaking...
is different.
Is different. Okay, so it's also important to know that Zeke gets paired with a rookie cop to sort of investigate. It culminates with Samuel L. Jackson's character, Zeke's dad, goes missing, and characters in the film, other cops and us, the audience, presume that it's that the killer may be Sam Jackson's character, because who else would know about all these corrupt cops and have access to all the different things?
Well, they're killing specific cops that were kind of related to that incident that happened 12 years prior.
And related to Detective Zeke, yeah. But it turns out that it's the rookie cop. Because the rookie cop...
Which is, of course, a major spoiler.
Yeah. When the witness who was shot... he was shot in his apartment, his 12-year-old son witnessed it, behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. And that 12-year-old grew up to be this rookie cop. So this rookie cop spent his young adult life trying to get on the police force, to be a part of this team, to be partnered with Zeke, which he even says, you know how hard it was to accomplish this? So that he could exact revenge on the police force. And his idea is that he thinks that he can clean up the police force by joining forces with Detective Zeke. So basically he proposes...
Which is so dumb.
It is.
It's so dumb. But
the killer proposes that if Detective Zeke just tells him who the corrupt cops are, he'll just kill them. And then that will sort of scare everyone into being legit And then that's their way of cleaning up the police force. So the film ends with him basically saying that was his motivation. And the final kill is Sam Jackson's character is hanging like a puppet with like the marionette strings, and they're like bleeding him. So something needs to be done or he'll bleed to death. And the killer has told Detective Zeke that I'm doing this because you have to make a choice. Like either you let your dad die and come with me, or you kill me and then you both are in trouble.
Choices.
Detective Zeke ends up not going with the killer, attempting to get his dad down, but that's not successful because there's like a second booby trap that occurs when the SWAT team comes.
Thinks of everything.
Yeah. And it ends up like hanging Sam Jackson's character and like pulling a string so it looks like he's going to shoot at the cops, and the cops kill him. The killer gets away at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
This can be quick. This film feels like all the other ones. I do have a special place in my heart for Saw because I saw I think almost all of the first 7 films in the theater, like when they were released like consecutively annually around Halloween. And I didn't think any of them were good except the first one, but I think just the fun of it.
I think one of our first dates was seeing Saw 5.
Perhaps,
in the theater, with Costas Mandylor. Mm-hmm.
So, the franchise kind of went downhill. That being said,
yeah.
I do think that this film, Spiral, is probably the best installment aside from the original.
Sure. The acting is a little bit better than some of the supporting turns in the original, I think, as well.
And the production of this film is probably the best of any of them.
I agree. Chris Rock apparently had approached Lionsgate because he's a fan of Saw 5 or the Saw franchise, and that's why he's executive producer, and he was able to craft the storyline, and I think he really is the selling point. It was a lot of fun, I thought, watching him kind of stomp around and chew up scenery, but in a way that
feels deliberate.
But it's deliberate. That was crafted for and by him. But the script credit is going to John Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger. Goldfinger! Who, you know what that is? Shirley.
Bassie.
Yeah. They wrote Jigsaw, which is no Gouda. Piranha 3D for Alexander Aja, Sorority Row, things of that ilk. But Chris Rock and Sam Jackson are kind of the highlight. Our introduction to Chris Rock is him bitching about the film Forrest Gump, praising Tom Hanks, in a very Tarantino-esque monologue in the beginning where he's working undercover, kind of rogue, getting these drug dealers.
And I think he gets to flex his comedic muscles.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then where they keep the cold case files in the basement, that's where Captain Angie Garcia gets killed. Did you notice the names on the door?
No.
It said Jules and Vincent.
Which is a reference to...
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Sam Jackson and John Travolta.
I don't have many notes except to list off all the kills. So there's that initial one with the tongue and the train hitting the person. There's another one where a character is like stuck in like a water bath, and the decision has to be made to either have his fingers ripped off or he'll be electrocuted in the water. Mm-hmm. There's another one where someone is hung like in a butcher shop and skinned.
We're meant to believe that is William, the Max. We didn't even say his name. Max Minghella plays
Charlie?
The rookie.
No, the rookie cop, sorry.
William, who is the son, of course. Anthony Minghella has been in a ton of films.
Okay. There's another character who is basically like drowned in boiling hot wax. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's Sam Jackson being killed by hanging like a puppet, and then the last one is a character is like basically shot with shattered glass
until he bleeds out.
Until he bleeds to death. Okay, I don't have any other notes except I thought the voice when like the Jigsaw voice when it's making the videos, I thought that voice sounded gay. It was an interesting choice.
I thought it was a creepy voice.
It's creepy, but it was definitely like. I mean, it was interesting.
Captain Angie Garcia, played by Marisol Nichols, thought kind of looked like if a Kardashian was doing, what's her name from Addams Family? Morticia.
Oh, sure.
With her flat, dark hair.
I wrote down that she looks like Mother Jocelyn Milan from Legendary Season 2.
And Sure. And she does scream a lot of her lines.
I wrote down that poor actress, she must have had a sore throat after each day of filming.
Which is very kind of the Tura Satana school of acting from Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. What else did I write down? Oh, there's a scene where Max Minghella is trying to get on Chris Rock's good side, and he's like, how do you take your coffee? And Chris Rock goes, alone, which I'm sure this is not a reference to that, but that is one of my favorite Joan Crawford moments in the movie Female on the Beach, when Jeff Chandler just inserts himself in her presence and asks the same thing.
The first cop to be killed is named Boz, and Boz was close with Chris Rock's character, but Boz was also a corrupt cop because he would go to court and lie on the witness stand to prosecute innocent people. But when Chris Rock's character goes to Boz's house to console the widow, they make her look like she's been crying. So they put like how basketball players wear the black stripes to prevent sweat from coming into their eyes. Mm-hmm. They do that, but like underneath to look like her eyeliner's been running. It looks insane. Like,
yeah. Well,
whomever thought that made sense, it was wrong.
And also Toronto, this is where it's filmed in Toronto, doesn't quite look like New York all the time. And there are a couple choreographed scenes that look, maybe because of the editing, a little fast forwarded. And basically this is the plot that I imagine if Kill Bill Volume 3 ever gets made, it would be the same, where the Vivica A. Fox daughter goes after the Uma Thurman character. It feels very much like that.
Okay. I haven't seen those. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't have anything else to say except that, I mean, this storyline, like the plot is very similar to every other Saw movie, but Sam Jackson and Chris Rock definitely elevated to a level that I think is worth watching. Mm-hmm. So I would say I would give it 3 out of 5.
I think 2.5 out of 5 for me, which is what I believe I gave Death of Me as well. I think Chris Rock is definitely the reason to see it. I think he's a lot of fun. Everything else about it felt a little too basic and straightforward, and it's just a pity, as with most of the Saw movies, that the same kind of time and energy that goes into these very complex kills couldn't have also been something administered to the third act. But I like the self-referential Chris Rock. There's a New Jack City reference in there as well. Anyhow, 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.